Sir Keir Starmer comfortably beats all other major party leaders in a poll of who would be the best Prime Minister, according to a new poll in which Nigel Farage fails to beat any of his rivals. Sir Keir has an 11-point lead over Tory leader Kemi Badenoch in terms of suitability for the top job, and a 10-point leader over the Reform leader. This is despite Labour more generally falling back in the polls since the party's election win in July, that has seen Reform catch up and, in some cases, overtake it. Mrs Badenoch and Mr Farage, however, are tied in terms of ability according to voters in a poll by YouGov. And both are comfortably beaten in a head-to-head with Liberal Democrat leader Sir Ed Davey. The poll comes as Mr Farage insisted there would be no Reform pact with the Tories today, saying the party is not honourable. He spoke out after the Mail on Sunday revealed allies of Mr Farage met with figures close to Shadow Justice Secretary Robert Jenrick to discuss creating a mega-party of the right. Sources close to the Reform UK leader said he would be open to working with the former Prime Minister Boris Johnson in the national interest to defeat Labour at the next election. Yesterday a senior ally of Tory leader Kemi Badenoch distanced the party from any such arrangement, and today Mr Farage turned his nose up at it. Speaking as he met farmers protesting in London about plans to make them start paying inheritance tax on their land, he said, "To do a pact with people, you've got to think, I'm going to shake your hand and you're an honourable person. After the betrayal post the 2019 election, we do not believe them to be honourable. Simple as that, so the answer is no." Speaking at a Farmers to Action event in North London, Mr Farage added, "I think we're the ones providing the challenge. We're the ones out doing stuff every day. We may only have 5 MPs, but boy, they're certainly being felt in Westminster, and the Labour Party doesn't know what it is anymore." And frankly, today's the 100th day of Kemi Badenoch's leadership. It doesn't stand for anything. The Moss revealed that allies of Mr Farage and the former Tory leadership contender Robert Jenrick met last week at the In and Out Private Members Club in Mayfair for informal discussions about uniting the right, although the sources insist that the talks were not sanctioned by either Mr Farage or Mr Jenrick. However, Alex Burghardt, the Shadow Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster, told the BBC's Sunday with Laura Quainsberg programme, Reform's stated ambition is to destroy the Conservative Party. That's a pretty difficult first date. If somebody says they are out to destroy you, do you think about marriage? While Reform is talking about completely killing us, I don't think there is a conversation to be had there. It also comes as a new poll suggests just a quarter of Tory voters see currently leader Kemi Badenoch as a PM in waiting as the party struggles. With the Conservatives languishing in third place in some polls, and many of the party's millionaire backers starting to switch to Reform, the sources said that Mr Farage could set aside ego to serve in a combined operation. They point to the Brexit campaign of 2016, when Mr Johnson campaigned for the same cause as Mr Farage but in a separate and self-contained fashion. Critically, however, the sources stress that if Reform maintains a strong poll lead, Mr Farage would expect to be in a position to dictate terms. These would include abandoning net zero targets and following President Trump's example by appointing high-profile figures, as Mr Trump did with ex's Elon Musk, to run slimmed-down government departments from the Lords. A deal could be in the form of a non-aggression pact at elections, a coalition similar to that of the Liberals and SDP in the 1980s, or a full merger. Jobs for Mr Farage after an election victory could include Chancellor. A source said, "Nigel is convinced the Tories can't win, and the future of the right will be decided now. He showed in the Brexit campaign that he can set aside ego for the wider good, but was burned in 2019 when he stood down candidates at the election only for Boris to betray Brexit. If Boris returns as leader, there would have to be clear agreement on key matters.